Girl, let me tell you, Karma is a real bitch, and she got my ass good. Like, slapped my ass raw and left me standing there wondering what the hell just happened. You think you're out here playing chess, but really, you're just a pawn in some cosmic game, know what I'm saying? I'm talking full-blown, rock-bottom, can't believe this is my life type shit. And the worst part? I thought I was smart. I thought I had all the receipts. I thought I was about to expose this nigga Deshaun for the player he was. Turns out, I exposed myself. Now I'm sitting here with a record longer than my weave, and all I can think is, how the hell did I get here? This ain't no fairy tale, boo. This is a cautionary tale. So grab your wine, and let me tell you how I went from petty to felon in 60 seconds flat. Alright, so let's rewind a bit. This all started with Deshaun. Deshaun, with a capital D and a side of, damn, he's fine. Dark skin, waves for days, and a smile that could melt butter. We met on Tinder, swiped right faster than you can say. Netflix and chill. He was working as a barber then, fresh out of barber school, talking about building his empire. I was slinging salads at Sweet Green, dreaming of bigger things. We clicked instantly. Moved way too fast, if I'm being honest. Within 3 months, he was practically living at my place. And soon after that, boom, he officially moved in. Looking back, there were red flags. Chile. Red flags everywhere. But love is blind, right? Especially when that man looks like a whole snack. The biggest flag? He was always on his phone, like glued to that damn thing. But I brushed it off. He's just social, I told myself. He's just talkative. Famous last words, right? It was a Tuesday. I remember, 'cause I had just gotten off a double at Sweet Green, smelling like kale and regret. Deshaun was supposed to be home by 9, but 10 rolled around, then 11. I texted him, "Where you at?" No response. Called him, went straight to voicemail. That's when the little green monster started creeping in. He finally strolled in around 1 a.m., smelling like cheap cologne and lies. "Baby, I'm so sorry," he slurred. "I was helping my boy Dre with his car. Battery died way out in Brooklyn." Brooklyn? Dre? I didn't even know a Dre. My antennae went up, we argued. I accused him of cheating. He flipped it on me, said I was insecure and controlling. Classic gaslighting. He slept on the couch that night, and the seeds of doubt were officially planted. That phone suddenly seemed a whole lot more suspicious. I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was Dre and Brooklyn and that damn cologne. I tossed and turned, replaying the argument in my head. Around 4 a.m., I made a decision, a bad one. He was snoring softly next to me, phone face down on the nightstand. I told myself it was just to ease my mind, just to confirm my suspicions were wrong. Slowly, carefully, I reached for it. No passcode. Jackpot. My heart was pounding. I went straight to his texts. Recent messages. Keisha with the good hair, followed by a string of emojis, the heart eyes, the kissy face, the eggplant. I swear, my blood turned to ice. Who the hell was Keisha with the good hair? And why was Deshaun sending her eggplants at 4 in the morning? That's when I knew. I knew. I was right. Finding those texts was like pouring gasoline on a fire. I was beyond pissed. I needed more. I needed proof. I remembered he used the same password for everything, his birthday. I figured, what the hell? Let me try his iCloud. Bingo. I logged in on my laptop, and that's when the real shit hit the fan. Photos, videos, messages I can't even repeat. This wasn't just some casual flirting, this was a full-blown affair. With multiple women, Keisha was just the tip of the iceberg. There were selfies, suggestive messages, and stuff way more explicit. My head was spinning. I felt betrayed, humiliated, and just plain stupid. I had to do something. I had to expose him. He wasn't gonna get away with this. For the next few hours, I was a woman possessed. I meticulously went through every photo, every video, every message. Screenshot after screenshot, I built my case. I cropped, I highlighted, I added captions like "caught in 4K" and Is this your king? I was creating an airtight presentation of Deshawn's dirtbaggery. I felt like Olivia Pope, only instead of fixing scandals, I was creating one. And I felt damn good about it. He deserved this. He deserved to be exposed. He deserved to feel the same humiliation I was feeling. In my mind, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was just showing the world the real Deshawn. I was providing receipts. Justice was about to be served. The next morning, I unleashed hell. I uploaded everything to Instagram and Twitter. Every screenshot, every video, every incriminating message. I tagged Deshawn, his mom, his sister, his best friend, the whole damn crew. I used hashtags like #caught cheating, #Deshawn the dirtbag, #Keisha with the good hair. I sat back and watched the comments roll in. Some people were shocked, some were supportive, some were just plain messy, adding fuel to the fire. My phone was blowing up. I felt a surge of power. Like I was finally in control, like I was finally winning. He messed with the wrong one and now the world was gonna know it. I was living for the drama, for the likes, for the validation. I thought I was taking out the trash. Turns out, I was digging my own grave. The reactions were mixed. Some of my girls were all about it. Get him, sis. He deserved it. They were reposting everything, adding their own commentary, but others were more cautious. My girl Aisha texted me, "Girl, you went too far. Take it down before you get in trouble." I brushed it off. Trouble? Please. He's the one who messed up. Deshawn, of course, was livid. He called me a psycho, a crazy bitch, said I ruined his life. He was blowing up my phone with threats and insults. I blocked him, but the damage was done. I could feel the heat of his anger radiating through the internet. He was humiliated, and rightfully so. But I didn't realize then that his humiliation would soon turn into my incarceration. He showed up at my apartment later that day, banging on the door like a madman. I almost didn't let him in, but a part of me wanted to see the look on his face, the look of defeat. I was wrong. He came in hot, denying everything. Those pictures are old. Those messages were taken out of context. He was trying to gaslight me, again, even with all the evidence staring him in the face. I laughed in his face, showed him the printouts I made of the iCloud data. He just kept repeating, "You're crazy, you're obsessed." Then he dropped the bomb. "We're done. I can't be with someone this unstable." And just like that, he was gone, leaving me standing there feeling empty. But that emptiness didn't last long. Soon, the adrenaline kicked back in. I was getting all kinds of messages, DMs from strangers praising me for my bravery, follow requests from people I didn't even know. My story was being shared, retweeted, commented on. I was trending. For a brief, shining moment, I felt vindicated. Like I had won. Like I had finally gotten the upper hand. He was gone. But I had the internet on my side. I was reveling in my 15 minutes of fame. This was my moment. My time to shine. What I didn't realize was that this moment was about to come crashing down on me, harder than I could ever imagine. The calm before the storm, baby. The calm before the storm. The knock came around 6 p.m. I was scrolling through Twitter, basking in the glow of my newfound notoriety when I heard it. Knock, knock, knock. Loud. Authoritative. I peeked through the peephole. 2 cops. In uniform. My heart skipped a beat. What the hell? I hadn't done anything wrong, had I? Maybe someone called about the noise from my fight with Deshawn. Maybe it was a neighbor complaining about my music. I opened the door, trying to act casual. "Officer, is there a problem? We need to ask you some questions regarding a complaint filed by Deshawn Miller," one of them said. Deshawn? What now? This had to be a mistake. He was probably trying to scare me. "I don't know what he told you, but I didn't do anything," I said, my voice shaking slightly. There must be some kind of misunderstanding. They asked me to come down to the station to answer some questions. I figured, what the hell? I had nothing to hide. Famous last words again. It wasn't until I was sitting in that sterile interrogation room, facing a detective with a serious face, that I started to get nervous. He laid it all out. "Miss Johnson, you're being accused of violating revenge porn laws." "Revenge porn?" I almost laughed. I thought that was just for celebrities. He explained that posting sexually explicit images of someone without their consent, especially if you obtained those images through unauthorized access, like, say, hacking into their iCloud, was a serious crime. I was stunned. I didn't even know that was a thing. I thought I was just posting receipts. Turns out, I was posting felonies. "But he cheated on me," I blurted out, my voice rising. "He humiliated me. I was just defending myself." I tried to explain how wronged I felt, how betrayed I was. I told him about Keisha with the good hair, about the iCloud, about everything. The detective just stared at me, unimpressed. "That doesn't excuse your actions, Miss Johnson. You broke the law." I still didn't get it. I thought, maybe they'd understand. Maybe they'd see that Deshawn deserved it. But they didn't. They just saw a woman who had violated the law. I kept insisting I didn't do anything illegal, that I was just exposing a cheater. But the more I talked, the deeper I dug myself into a hole. They booked me, fingerprinted me, took my mugshot, and then they put me in a cell. That's when the reality hit. Hard. The cold steel bars, the scratchy blanket, the stale air. It was all so surreal. I was really in jail. Like, actual jail. I was surrounded by women I didn't know, women who looked like they had seen things I couldn't even imagine. I was terrified and humiliated. My 15 minutes of fame had turned into a lifetime of shame. I spent the night crying, replaying everything in my head, wondering how I had gotten here. I thought I was righting a wrong, but I had only wronged myself. My mom and sister, Keisha, ironically, were waiting for me when I got out. Their faces were a mix of relief and disappointment. Mama didn't say much, just hugged me tight and whispered, "We'll get through this, baby." But Keisha was less forgiving. "Girl, what were you thinking?" she asked, her voice sharp. "You done messed up bad. This ain't no joke. This is your life we talking about." They tried to explain the seriousness of the charges, the potential consequences, the impact on my future. I still wasn't fully grasping it. I was too caught up in my own hurt and anger. But seeing the worry in their eyes, the genuine fear for my well-being, started to chip away at my denial. This wasn't just about Deshawn anymore. This was about me. Mama and Keisha helped me find a lawyer. Miss Evans was a no-nonsense woman with a reputation for being tough. I sat in her office, nervously fidgeting as she reviewed my case. When she finally looked up, her expression was grim. "Miss Johnson, you're facing some very serious charges," she said, her voice firm. "Revenge porn is a felony in this state. And the fact that you hacked into his iCloud makes it even worse. We're talking potential jail time, a criminal record, and a whole lot of other problems." She didn't sugarcoat anything. She laid out the worst-case scenarios, the uphill battle we were facing. It was the first time I truly understood the gravity of my situation. This wasn't just a bad breakup, this was a life-altering crisis. A few weeks later, Miss Evans called me with more bad news. "The district attorney has decided to take the case, Miss Johnson," she said, her voice grave. "They believe they have a strong case against you, and they're going to prosecute." That's when I knew this wasn't just going to be a slap on the wrist. This wasn't going to be some minor charge that would disappear with a little community service. The DA was involved. They were serious, and that meant I was in serious trouble. The reality of what I had done finally sunk in. This wasn't some petty act of revenge, this was a felony. And it was going to follow me for the rest of my life. The internet, fickle as ever, turned on me faster than I could say cancel culture. The same people who were praising me for my bravery were now calling me a criminal, a psycho, a menace to society. My follower count plummeted. Brands I had been trying to collaborate with ghosted me. The comments were brutal. "She's a felon. Lock her up. Deshawn dodged a bullet." I was being harassed, trolled, and shamed online. My DMs were filled with hate messages and threats. The online fame I had craved had become a digital nightmare. I deactivated my accounts, but the damage was done. The internet never forgets. And now, neither would the justice system. As if things weren't bad enough, I got a call from Sweet Green. They appreciated my contributions to the team. But due to the negative publicity surrounding my case, they were letting me go. Fired. Just like that. Slinging salads wasn't my dream job, but it paid the bills. Now I was unemployed, facing felony charges, and drowning in legal fees. The financial stress was overwhelming. I was barely scraping by, relying on my mama and Keisha to help me make ends meet. The weight of my poor decisions was crushing me. It wasn't just my reputation that was ruined. It was my entire life. I heard through the grapevine that Deshawn was struggling too. He lost some clients at the barbershop. His mama was pissed at him for bringing shame to the family. People were side-eyeing him everywhere he went. I almost felt bad for him. Almost. He had created this mess after all. But then I remembered Keisha with the good hair, the iCloud, the lies, and the sympathy vanished. We were both paying the price for our mistakes, but mine was a whole lot steeper than his. He could still cut hair, still hang out with his boys, still live his life. I was stuck in legal hell, facing a future I didn't even recognize. The next few months were a blur of court appearances. Endless waiting in sterile hallways, listening to legal jargon I barely understood, watching Miss Evans argue my case before a judge who seemed utterly indifferent. Each court date was a fresh reminder of my stupidity. I had to face Deshawn in court, seeing the anger and resentment in his eyes. I had to relive the humiliation of my actions, explaining my motives to strangers who were judging me harshly. The legal process was slow, agonizing, and utterly soul-crushing. I was trapped in a nightmare of my own making, with no easy way out. Finally, Miss Evans came to me with a plea deal. The DA was willing to reduce the charges if I pleaded guilty to a lesser offense. It would still mean a criminal record, probation, and a hefty fine, but it would avoid a lengthy prison sentence. I was torn. Part of me wanted to fight, to prove my innocence, to argue that I was justified in my actions. But Miss Evans was blunt. "You'll likely lose, Miss Johnson. The evidence is stacked against you. This plea deal is the best option you have to avoid serious jail time." I weighed my options, the fear of prison looming large in my mind. Was I willing to risk everything on a slim chance of victory? I was at rock bottom, unemployed, facing a criminal record, and utterly alone. I spent days locked in my apartment, replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out where I went wrong. Okay, maybe hacking into his iCloud wasn't the smartest move. And maybe posting everything online was a bit extreme. I acknowledge that. I made mistakes, huge ones. But let's be real, if Deshawn hadn't been cheating in the first place, none of this would have happened. He lit the match. I just poured the gasoline. I know. That's probably not a healthy way to look at it. But it's the truth. I was hurt. I was angry. And I reacted impulsively. And now, I was paying the price. I took the plea deal. It wasn't the outcome I wanted, but it was the best I could get. I pleaded guilty, accepted the probation, and braced myself for the long road ahead. I'm still trying to process everything that happened. I'm still dealing with the fallout. The criminal record is a constant reminder of my mistake, a barrier to jobs and opportunities. The probation hangs over my head, limiting my freedom. But slowly, I'm starting to understand the long-term impact of my actions. It's not just about Deshawn anymore. It's about my future, my reputation, my life, and I have to find a way to rebuild it, brick by painful brick. So, here I am. A cautionary tale in human form. I thought I was teaching him a lesson, but I ended up teaching myself one. And it cost me everything. My relationship, my reputation, my job, my freedom. All because I let my anger and insecurity get the best of me. I still have a long way to go. I still have to face the consequences of my actions. But I'm hoping that one day, I can look back on this and see it as a turning point. A moment that forced me to grow and learn and become a better person. Maybe. Or maybe I'll just be known as the girl who went through her boyfriend's iCloud and ended up with a felony. You be the judge.